Hello and welcome. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of a review in regards to a couple of different markers, and these are all acrylic paint water-based markers. I have 4 different types that we're going to get through today, and starting first on that list is Posca paint pens, acrylic paint markers, however you want to say that. So I actually have their different sizes here. We have the fine point size, the smallest size here, and then let me show you what that looks like. So it's pretty tiny. You get really crisp lines and things of that nature. But one thing I do find is that the tip has like these plastic nibs that they like pick up the paint underneath and kind of scratch. And then at times it makes your tip kind of like a lot more opaque and not as of a straight line, if that makes sense. So there's that one, the smallest Posca paint marker. We're gonna get into the medium point paint marker for Posca, and that's kind of like, you know, your normal round tip, just a little bit smaller than normal. And Posca paint pens are the ones that you're able to push down to get more ink out. So this is the medium tip. My Posca paint pens are a lot older than all of my other paint pens that I have, so that's exactly why they look so faded. So if you do get Posca paint pens, they most likely won't be as faded as mine. So then we have the biggest tip. This is the chunkiest one we have here. They all work the same way, operate the same way in regards to how you push it down to get more ink out. So once you push it down, you get like this little glob of paint, and then you can kind of mix it around. But I will say I usually do this off my art piece, because if you push down your Posca paint pen on your paint piece, it'll kind of just make a glob of paint wherever you're working. So that was Posca. Now we're going to get into another brand. That was the very first brand that I've ever used. We're going to get into another one now. So the next one is going to be Artistro paint marker pen. So these are the medium point ones. They are water-based. These are the same as the Posca. You shake, press the tip down, and that's how your paint comes out. So I will say that Artistro paint markers have definitely been one of my favorites. So this is the big tip. You know, we got like the same size big tip. Medium point is kind of similar to Posca's large point. So that's what we got for the medium tip Artistro paint markers. Now we have a fine tip. So these are small. They're very similar to Posca's fine tips. They have the same little plastic nibs at the top that may get caught or scratch your painting underneath of what you're making, so be careful of that. So from here, these tips can get ruined if they pick up too much pigment or paint from other painting, like the other part of their painting underneath, and then it won't come out as much or as well. It'll kind of come out in like trails instead of like a full potent line. So that's the Artistro set. So these are the next ones we're getting into. So these are the dual tip acrylic paint markers. Not sure how to say their name, but that's their name. We got brush tip and a fine line tip. So here they're water-based, you know, non-toxic. They go on most surfaces, and it says they're waterproof, which is cool. So these have definitely been some of my favorite. We got lots of color choices and metallic choices on top of that. How cool. So these have definitely been some of my favorite. we'll try out a regular color and then a metallic color too. So these are definitely my favorite by far. You can tell because that one's already empty. Yeah, that one's dry. Some of them have been dried out because I've used them so much. Yeah, there we go. That's my one thing I don't like about these, is that they run out very quickly. So the fine tips of these are very similar to the other fine tips. You know, you have like the little tip that the ink goes down into. However, another thing I like about these a lot is that you do not have to press down to get the ink out. You don't have to go like this, damage the tip potentially. So you don't have to worry about that. It already comes out. I just wish that they had some more ink in them. So they work very well. The tip is very tiny at the brush tip, and then it goes down thicker so you can get both a small line and a big line. Now I recently just got a new pack. So these are the Master's Touch acrylic markers, and there's 24 of them. They're all just a regular brush tip, so they'll all be like this. Another thing that I do like a lot about these, however, is that there is no pressing of these ones as well, and they have a very big and thin at the tip brush tip, which I like a lot, so you can get small lines and thick lines with both in the same marker. Another thing that I like a lot about these is that they are so big. They're very chunky and big. Now the only other ones that I have that are big like that are the Artistro brand and the Posca brand. So out of all three, I like this one the best in the way that it's used. There's no pressing down, and you don't have to worry about damaging your tip. Also, I find that you can get a small line and a thick line with just this one in itself. So these ones are good in regards to actually making it and the paint that goes on. I don't like the techniques in regards to shaking and pressing down because that damages the tip, and it also wastes a lot of excess paint. These are my favorite so far, so I'll let you see how they work. There's your thick lines. You can get an easily thick line. You can also do really tiny as well. So there you go, is my review on all of these. And these ones are my favorite. However, these you can get a virtually small and big line with way more ink. So there you have it. If you have any questions or would like to see any more reviews of products, please let me know, and I hope that you have a beautiful day. Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry I forgot to show you the metallic. Metallic markers of the third type that I showed y'all. I'll do a couple different metallics. Pretty. Alright. If you have any questions, just let me know. If you want to see another review, let me know. Have a good day.